Hello, all you wonderful people out in the internet. My name's Emmanuel, and in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to go about programming drums and my thoughts on AI when it comes to creating music. So let's get right into it. So we're talking about programming drums at any capacity, whether it be for metal, rock, pop, jazz, basically any scenario where you might need drums. Now, if you're a musician, you already know how difficult it is to find a drummer, to find a space, to rehearse and record your ideas. This is where programming drums comes into play. The main reason why I use Cubase is because it has a great drum map editor. Now, I won't go into too much detail when it comes to routing the drums, but we can always revisit that idea at a later video. And in all honesty, some of these drum kits sound amazing. So you can use them for your songwriting, or you can use them to make a really good sounding demo. Just in general, being able to program your own drums really comes in handy. I'd like to take a moment to talk about AI drumming, just AI in general when it comes to making music. I personally don't know too much about AI when it comes to making music or drumming, but I tend to not even consider that a viable option. I think once you start involving AI, it tends to remove that human aspect when it comes to making music. And it just seems a bit, I don't want to say the word wrong. It feels a little bit off when you start incorporating AI into the creation of music. Again, it kind of takes out that spirit, that soul when it comes to creation. And so I tend to shy away from that, but I'm sure there's plenty of websites or programs out there that use AI where you can possibly, let's say, have the AI generate some ideas for you, and then you can use that as a reference. As a personal taste, I would much rather, play with a live drummer, and if by some chance I can't do that, then I would much rather come up with the drum parts myself using the programmed drums. And with that being said, let's dive into Cubase, and let's look at an example of how you could go about programming drums. Okay, so we're in Cubase, and I just have this session. This is like a little practice session that I use to practice guitars, different plugins and things like that. As you can see, I don't have my virtual kit, my virtual drum kit loaded up, so we can just go ahead and do that. So again, this is Cubase, but I think some of the same principles can apply to other DAWs like Pro Tools, Logic, things like that. So we want to load up a rack instrument, and we're going to go to Contact. What Contact is think of it as like a library that houses all your virtual instruments. In this case, it houses my virtual drums, the virtual drum plugins. So it's going to ask you to, one second, I'm getting all messed up here. It's going to ask you to create a MIDI track. So you just click on create, and then Contact opens. So I'm going to select, so there's a lot of great kits out there. I used to write a lot with the Invasion drum kit, but this Matt Halpern P4 kit, solid. And this is what I've been using for most of my writing now. Get Good Drums, GGD, awesome company. They have great plugins. Periphery is one of my favorite bands. So, I mean, just solid stuff. So kind of opens it up different than I'm used to seeing. Let's undo that. So let's undo that. We'll go like this. Basically, when you want to take away a virtual instrument, oh, I think this just took a dump on itself. What is going on? Oh, discard. Okay, I'm having to move back and forth. Right, so I'll remove this. And see, you get to see a little bit of this troubleshooting here. I've been using, I upgraded it to the new, like a newer version of Kontakt, and that kind of threw me off. I'm not used to seeing the drum kit like that. So I'm just gonna remove the selected track. We have no virtual instruments, okay. So I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna open up regular Kontakt. We'll create a MIDI track, and then you see here the virtual instrument here for the P4 kit, the Matt Halpern P4 kit. Drag it in, and this is what it looks like. We're at the snare. You can look at the full kit. Let me see. I don't know if my routing is all set. Let me see. There is, so there's like a setting in here that we need to adjust. Where is it? It is full kit. There is a setting in here. Right here. Set this MIDI channel to Omni. Okay. So there's a kick. There's certain, so you can see like I'm clicking, I'm not hearing anything, but I do hear the kick. Okay, so what we do now is, and this is, it's a little weird how Kontakt interacts with Cubase. So I'm just gonna hit X, and then if you go here to this arrow and go to active outputs, kick is selected, so that's good, but we need to add everything else. We need to add all the other instruments within the kit. So snare, all the different mics, and this kit is, it's all mic'd up in a specific way. So you'll see that certain instruments have, there's like a snare top, a snare bottom, so it's just the way how they mic'd everything up. So I'm gonna select everything here. Okay, the room and then the overheads. Okay. So then, if I need to call my drum kit again, I'm hearing Kontakt, this is the track, and then I go here to edit instrument, and then it pulls up the kit again. Okay. Now you can hear everything, so we're good to go. So I mean, look at that snare, it just sounds really great. And as you can tell, there's the little piano here, the little piano roll. And these are all mapped out. So, okay, that looks good. Then what we want to do is we want to start, right? We want to start songwriting. We want to start, coming up with like a groove. So I get like the little pencil tool, and then I just create, let's say, an event. I just kind of drag it. I don't know how long it's going to be, you know, but I just, you know, I create an event here. And I go back to my little pointer tool. And then I go to editor here. And you can see the piano roll. And you could use this. You could use this to program the hits, but I don't know about you. This is kind of confusing. You know, it's kind of confusing. It doesn't really make sense to me. So we can do something about that. So what we can do is basically you have to set up a drum map. And I've already done that. I've saved and customized my drum map already ahead of time. So if we go back to our kit, we go into settings, and we want to load our presets. Boom, I've loaded up the Halpern preset. Okay. Then we go, okay, so there's this little section here within the MIDI contact track. It says no drum map. We select that. We go to drum map setup. And then here, I'm not too sure. I think when you first look at it, you might not see anything here, or you might see something default. But I'm gonna go to load, and then I'm gonna go to Mat H. I'm gonna hit X. I'm gonna go back to no drum map, click on Mat H. And then you can see like, hey, where's my drum map? Okay, we just go back to mix console, go back to editor, and then you can see now, that it's a bit different. It's a lot different actually. Now I have it set up to where, oh, I can't, oh, let me see, I don't hear the hits. All right, so let's troubleshoot that. Let's see. Okay. So here, okay, I think this is good. Or I wonder if it's custom 1? Did I set it to custom 1? Okay, I did. So, and I apologize for this, but like I've set this up like a while back ago, and I haven't programmed drums in a little bit. So I'm kind of finding my way through it again. But I had set up that custom preset. Oh, let's turn this down so we don't get any interruptions. Let's turn all this down. Okay. So a while back ago, I had set up a preset within the GGD drum kit, and then I had set up a drum map based off that, and so I had to go one by one and kind of map all this stuff out. I'm not going to get into too much detail with that, but if I guess if you guys want more information about it, I could always come back and I can always make a video, and we can, I can show you guys how that all works. But okay, so we got our drum map here. And as you can tell, I'm just gonna, let me turn up the monitoring here on my end. Okay. we can hear all the hits. And it's, you know, you got your kick, your snare, you know, your different kind of snare hits. You know, you got your toms, excuse me, your rides, crash, all the pieces of the kit. So now we can actually start writing. So like, and how I tend to do this is, you know, I'm not a drummer, but I have my favorite drummers, you know, so I kind of think about what would some of these drummers do when in certain situations. Like, let's say I got like this, you know, this heavy riff, you know, what would Mike Portnoy do? Or if, you know, I got this groove going on, what would Danny Carey do? So I kind of think about the influences I have in music and stuff like that, and then I listen to what I'm trying to do with the music, and with that combination, I kind of find my way of what I want to do. So let's give this a shot. So I'm just like zooming in and out. And let's, you know, we're in 4/4. Let's make it real easy. And, you know, and don't be afraid to just start, you know, like slapping things on here. You know what I mean? Like we get the little drumstick here. You know, don't be afraid, you know, to just start, you know, just start putting things in. Okay? So like, let's say we went through, let's say, the beginning of the song, or we're at a point, and it's like, you know what, on this section I want something really driving, really heavy. And so, you know, let's do some double bass. Within Cubase, you can always adjust the tempo. So like down here, let's say I'm at 120. You know, let's kick it up a notch. Let's say 165. Okay? We go back. And I tend to just, you know, take a section at a time. Right now I got, you know, we're in this bar right here. And so I'll just listen to it. Okay? Okay. You know, it's a little too fast. I'm just going to knock it down. You know, let's go to 130. Maybe this song is just, you know, maybe not that fast. You know, but I kind of like that kind of double bass, moderate tempo. So down here, you're going to notice the velocity for the hits. And keep in mind, you know, we're trying to keep some realism to the drumming. So there's some different dynamics that are going on when a drummer plays. They're not going to hit everything super hard all the time. Good drummers, they have dynamics to their playing. So, and you can research this. There's lots of videos out here or out on the internet that kind of describe, you know, how hard a drummer actually hits and stuff like that. And you can just kind of play with it, you know, you can just kind of play with it. So, you know, what I tend to do is on certain hits, you know, I might pump up the velocity here, make it a little harder. You know, this is like a double bass part. They're not going to be sitting here and just slamming as hard as they can the entire time. You know, so you kind of just think about, you know, the realism, think about what's humanly possible. You know, it's not going to be perfect all the time, but I mean, this, you can get as detailed as you want. Maybe what you could do is just, you know, first just program everything and then go back and tweak the velocity. From the snare, right off the bat, that that snare hit, I want it to be more pronounced. So I just come here. Okay. Okay. And then what you can do is, you know what? I like that. I like that groove with that drum and snare. You can just copy like this. Okay, delete that. Boom. Paste it. You know, and then you can keep going. All right, if you need to, zooming in and out is G and H. So I can zoom out. You know, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. 4 bars of 4/4. So it's good to know a little bit about music theory. You don't need to know a whole lot, but the more you know, the better. It's just going to help you become better at songwriting or just knowing how to arrange things. So then, you know, you can do something like this. Okay. You can do something like this. Make it repeat. Okay. And it's going to cycle. And then you can start to think like, oh, what do I want to hear? You know, maybe some hi-hat action, you know? And then you can start to listen what the guitar is going to do. So you know what? Let's add some hi-hats, you know? Let's add some cymbals here. So okay. Can zoom in here. Now, boom, we'll hit the left and the right. Bam. You know? Maybe tweak the velocity a little bit. Okay. And then what we'll do is on every, it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just copy this. I'm like, that sounds pretty good to me. Let's copy it. Copy it. And the last one. Boom. And you got yourself a little groove. See? So I mean, the sky's the limit. And look at what I just did. Not all that difficult. We have our DAW. We have the library that contains our virtual instruments. We call upon that virtual instrument. We enable the outputs. We do some tweaking with the drum mapping just so that it's easier for us to maneuver and identify the different parts of the kit. Once you have that all saved, it'll become a lot easier and you can just kind of load it for your new projects, and then you're off to the races. That's it. You can sit here all day tweaking the hits, you know, go wild with it. You know, don't be afraid to experiment. You know, don't be afraid to be like, oh, you know, maybe I don't want, you know, maybe I kind of want to do this, you know, let's remove, you know, some of these hits, you know, maybe it goes like this. You know, maybe it goes a little something like this. You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to play around and to really dig in and experiment with this stuff. Because I promise you, once you start doing that, you're just going to start learning and learning so much. And then you might come across things that you initially wouldn't have thought, I'm going to say possible, but you didn't even know it existed. You know, a lot of times I might have an idea and I'm like, oh, you know, this is what I have in mind. And then as I'm programming it, I might delete this or delete that, or, you know, I might hear something else. I'm like, you know what, that sounds good. And I go down that rabbit hole. So I encourage that. Just go in here and just start, you know, seeing what's possible, you know, and just play around. Of course, you want to bear in mind what's actually physically possible for a drummer to do. You know, you can't, you know, certain hits, you know, he only has 2 arms and 2 legs. So you have to bear in mind what's humanly possible for, you know, for a human drummer. But other than that, the sky's the limit with this stuff. And as far as, routing everything, setting up the tracks to record the MIDI, that's, we can tackle that in another video, because it doesn't just stop here. Like, let's say you've programmed the MIDI for all the hits. The next step would be to set up all the routing, going in here, setting up the buses for each part of the kit, and then routing the MIDI through the buses to go to the audio tracks. So that way, when you hit the record button, the MIDI data gets sent to those tracks and they can record the audio. And that's what you want. You want that audio capture of the programmed drums. And then once you do that, you can go into mixing. You could adjust the levels, apply, EQ moves and different things like that. All right, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Again, if you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below. Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if you're interested to see more. We can break this down and I can show you, how far this rabbit hole goes, and it goes deep. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all those nice fancy things, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.